Welcome back to TLDR's Daily Briefing for Friday the 28th of March 2025. In today's episode, we cover why Canada is marking a new era for US-Canadian relations, China's push to enthrall global business leaders, and the 7.7 magnitude Myanmar earthquake. But first, Australia's PM has set the date for the country's general election. On Friday morning, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese announced, after months of speculation, the date of the next Australian federal election. After visiting the Governor-General, Sam Mostyn, to dissolve the 47th Parliament, Albanese announced that people will go to the polls on the 3rd of May. It's clear that Albanese is attempting to set the narrative of the election, with him choosing to focus on the ongoing cost of living crisis. Mere days before Albanese announced the election, his government pushed a budget through Parliament that gave tax cuts to households across Australia. The cuts mean that the personal tax rate, between $18,201 to $45,000, will be reduced by 1 percentage point next year, and again the year after. In total, this accounts for a cut of up to $268 a year from mid-2026 and $536 from 2027. Albanese has tried to use this to argue that his Labour Party is better placed to steer Australia through uncertain times, and that while the world has thrown a lot at Australia over the 3 years that his Labour government has been in office, they have faced the challenges the Australian way, helping people under cost of living pressure, while building for the future. He added that the economy was now turning the corner. The leader of the opposition, Peter Dutton, has argued that the question Australians need to ask is, are you better off today? Is our country better off today than 3 years ago? Dutton's coalition has been ahead in the polls since August 2023. There has, however, been a slight uptick in support for Labour, potentially on the back of the budget. Polymarket now gives Albanese a 52% chance of winning the election, to Dutton's 48%. If this is the case, then Albanese would become the first Australian Prime Minister since John Howard in 1998 to win a second term. You're listening to TLDR's Daily Briefing. If you want more explainers on what's happening in the world, then you should check out TLDR's other channels. Today, we released one video on TLDR Global on why the DRC is offering Trump a minerals deal. You can find the video linked in the description or show notes for this episode, or by searching for TLDR on YouTube or Nebula. Over to Canada now, where Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has declared that Canada's old relationship with America was over. Whilst the two countries have historically enjoyed close economic ties and security cooperation, the new PM's remarks came in response to US President Donald Trump's tariffs, which are due to come into effect from April the 2nd. For context, around 75% of Canada's exports go to the US, but the former Bank of England governor has said that Canada must pivot its trade relationship elsewhere, and has said that there would be a broad renegotiation of the trade agreement between the countries. Carney's comments also appear to call into question the future of the USMCA trade agreement, which was negotiated between the US, Mexico, and Canada during Trump's first term, and has been hailed as one of the world's most important trade deals. Carney's trade policies seem to have hit a chord with the Canadian electorate, and his Liberal Party is currently a narrow favourite to win a historic 4th straight term. Carney has become emblematic of global leaders, from Mexico to Ukraine, for enjoying high ratings after going head-to-head with Trump. In related news, in China, Chinese President Xi Jinping has met with more than 40 global business CEOs, including those of FedEx, Mercedes-Benz, and HSBC, urging them to resist the, quote, regressive trade actions and help stabilize global supply chains. In strong contrast to the US, where Trump has launched successive waves of tariffs on products from aluminium to cars, Xi has pitched China as the complete opposite, as a champion of open markets, a stable bastion of global trade, and has promised better treatment for foreign firms operating in the country. For years, many foreign companies have complained of formal and informal barriers that protect the domestic market from international competitors. Finally, today a massive earthquake of magnitude 7.7 has hit central Myanmar, the strongest recorded earthquake since a 7.8 magnitude quake struck Turkey and Syria 2 years ago, causing more than 60,000 deaths. Myanmar's ruling junta declared a state of emergency in the country, which has been in political turmoil since the military seized power in a 2021 coup. While the number of deaths caused by the earthquake is not yet known, rescue teams say the numbers are at least in the hundreds. The shock was also strongly felt in Bangkok in neighbouring Thailand, where a high-rise building under construction collapsed. At least 3 people have been declared dead, and reportedly dozens more, most construction workers, are trapped under the rubble. Thai authorities have declared Bangkok a disaster area. That's all for today. We'll be back with you next week, so make sure you're subscribed wherever you listen. In the meantime, if you want to support the show, then consider grabbing a copy of our physical magazine, Too Long. The next edition, coming out in April, covers the world's 25 most influential people, as ranked by us, the TLDR team, and you, the TLDR audience. Inside, we unpack who these influential people are, explain how they got their influence, and tell stories about how they choose to wield this immense power. The entire thing is beautifully designed, contains a bunch of other stories, and runs over 72 pages of our best journalism. If you're interested, you can use the code TLDRDaily at checkout to get £2 off your copy, which brings the cost of a subscription down as low as £5.99. Buying Too Long helps to fund all of our journalism, so make sure you do check it out. You can find the links in the podcast description. This was a TLDR news production hosted by Georgina Findlay, written by Ben Blisset and Nadja Lovadinov, and produced by Scarlett Watchorn. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back again next week.